This is RSBANDB Update, episode 854, recorded Thursday, November 4th, 2021. The sound of PVM. In a tweet via Mod Shrew, he posted that the particles in the Croesus encounter will no longer be green, white, and red. These will instead be blue, yellow, and red, which should hopefully improve colorblind accessibility during the subdued boss state.
Yeah, and we looked at these, didn't we, Shane?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell a speck of difference
Right.
in
And
any of them.
so for listeners, when it comes to color blindness, what exactly is it that you can and can't see?
So I can, because my damage is in the central retina, it hits, the rods as well as the cone cells, and for me, I can have, it's most noticeable with blue, and green, but whatever they're using red wise, I don't see a difference in
It's
that.
halfway between red and pink.
Yeah, so for me and for a lot of people with central vision loss anyway, it's less about the colors, it's more about the contrast. And there's they could achieve this by just having dark red, and like a light, even like the color they had in the middle. That's pretty light. So if you had that and like a dark something, because we see the dark pixels.
Yeah, those are actually shadows.
Right. But I mean, if you could make shadows out of it, you could surely make the little bubbles out of them,
So
right?
so let's just say, can you tell the difference between the one on the right that's red and the one that's on the far left that's blue?
No.
Okay. What about the red and the yellow in the middle?
No, the red,
Okay.
it's too light. Like
Right.
there's no contrast. That's the thing. Like it's not
So
just
what would
color
you do then?
blindness.
Would you do like a, say, black for the ones you're not supposed to click? Maybe like a black smoke.
Yeah, I would either do a black or like the dark red kind of smoker pixels that you see like from the capes.
From like the Constitution cape, for example.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe it should be smoke instead of particles like this, because these are, very spread out and such. But so if they were, say, a black and a red smoke, and then if you were to pick something else in between, like maybe on like a light one, maybe.
Well, yeah, because that would provide
So then
the
you'd have
contrast.
black, red, and something lighter, like maybe a yellow.
Yeah, and for me, all I would be seeing is like a dark, a kind of little bit lighter, and a really light. You know.
And I think the thing we're taking away from this here is that you can of course manage for color blindness, but at the same time you also need to manage for people like yourself who I forget which is which. Is it the cones or the rods that do contrast?
I think it's the. Gosh, I think
Okay.
cones are color, I believe.
So you also need to manage contrast in addition to color. And when it comes to accessibility in general, if you handle both contrast, if you can have, differences in contrast and difference in color that are color blindness accessible, that's probably just a good general guideline to take if you were to do such a thing, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's and you see this nowadays. A lot of games will have an accessibility settings in their menus, and you will see there will be usually there's 3 different color blindness settings, and I couldn't give you what those exact terms are, but they refer to like the red and brown colorblind, the blue and green, or blue and yellow. There's a couple of them, but what I'm saying is it doesn't matter what kind of color blindness you have if you attack it using contrast, which also opens it up for every other person with a visual
Oh,
impairment.
so
that
you're
might
saying
have trouble.
you can attack color blindness by also just you dealing with
Yeah,
contrast. Okay.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
And then what you would have on the top level then, for example, would just be different color blindness options that would affect the game as it was. But we of course know how big RS is, and this was asked about at some point if they could do this in applying a game-wide color blindness option. They said would actually be quite difficult, but I get it. I get it. And you know, I think the thing we need to take away from this is that these are positive steps in the right direction. Yes.
Very positive. Like I said, even for though like it kind of misses the mark for me, I'm really happy at the steps that have been taken.
And this will probably help some people out there that don't have the contrast issues that you have, I'd bet.
Yeah, I mean it uh, if I'm being completely honest, I think it's going to be a little bit less effective than what they're hoping for. But I'm very appreciative that they tried, and maybe maybe we could just change up some colors again in the future.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. You can find full episodes of RSBANDB Update right here on this YouTube channel. If you found this video useful or just enjoyed it, like and subscribe, or leave a comment.